This is the 59 Patton, the Chinese Tier 8 Premium Medium Tank. It's now in the stores, and this is the second time it's come around. What's it actually like though, for those of you who haven't got it? Is it worth the investment? Is this a tank you really want in your garage? So let's have a look at some of the stats and the gameplay and see, is this one worth it? Hello again everybody, and welcome back to VIII Blitz, and today we're going to have a review. We're looking at the 59 Patton, the mix and match Beastie, as I like to say. Why do I call it that? Well, basically it's a Patton turret, as you can see there from the American tank, and it's basically a T-54 Type 59 chassis, and it's been sort of amalgamated together to make this little beast. And to be fair, it looks pretty chunky. The only thing I actually don't like about it is the colossal zit that it has sticking on top of its turret. But hey, it's a Patton. But what about its armor? Well, as you can expect, it's a Patton turret, so the front of the turret is pretty solid, but the sides, well, they're easy to pen, as you can see. As for the chassis, well, again, it's a T-54 Type 59, and because of that, it's got the funky Russian armor that sort of bounces things that you wouldn't expect to bounce. And, you know, whilst you have a look at the armor inspector here, yes, there's a lot of green. Because it's that funky Russian armor, it does bounce stuff you don't expect, and that's what makes it so fun. Okay, so the turret's got a big zit on it that you can easily penetrate, but most Pattons have a turret that's easily penetrable through the cupola. So, you know, you've got to take the rough with the smooth. At the end of the day, the turret is pretty solid apart from the zit. Simple fact of life, guys. It's no different to a normal Patton. So the armor-wise, it's not too bad. What about its pen? Well, here it is. Against the VK100-01P, and unfortunately, like most Tier 8 tanks, unless you're hitting the side, it's pretty difficult to pen a VK. But hey, most tanks find it difficult to pen a VK. But the thing you need to remember about this tank is this. It's got funky Russian chassis armor, and apart from the massive zit on the top, it's pretty solid. So this is, in my opinion, a true medium. Okay, it may look a bit ugly, but it's a good true medium at that. It's not the quickest beastie out there, but I enjoy it. I think you can get quite a bit of good speed out of it. Let's give you a bit of stats about it. Its HP, yeah, it's pretty average. It's 1,400. This is without all the equipment unlocked, by the way. This is just a stock version of the tank. The penetration, as I said, it's pretty poor. It's 180. The damage it dishes out, again, is pretty poor. It's maximum damage on your standard AP round at about 225. That obviously decreases with your which is your heat round, your Pramo, to 190. And you've got about 270 on your HE. DPM wise, on your standard AP, it's 2,467. With your heat round, it's 2,083. And with your heat, it's 2,960. So you're not the biggest damage monster out there. Rate of fire, however, is pretty spectacular. Stock, you're going to get just shy of 5.5 second reloads, which gives you just shy of 11 rounds a minute. Base aim time, it's shy of 2 seconds. The dispersion, pretty good. It's not that bad, actually. And the depression, for this type of tank, don't forget it's a Patton turret, so you're getting a whopping 10 degrees, which is a lot more than most of the Russian oblique Chinese variant tanks will give you. Speed, going forward, you'll get about 50 out of it, and going backwards, you'll get 20. So it's pretty good at getting out of trouble as well as getting into it. And as you can see here, you know, there's just a pretty game on it over the top. You put it in the right spot, you can dish out some pretty good stuff. I mean, I didn't really have that many problems penning it. The issue you're going to find, however, is the amount of damage it dishes out isn't exactly massive. But don't forget, you've got less than 6 seconds reload. So you're dishing out a lot of mediocre damage in a quick period of time, which isn't bad for a Tier 8 tank. Okay, for a medium on a T54 chassis, it's not the fastest thing in the bag, but it's got a pretty good turn of speed, and for a massive turret like this, it is quite mobile. And to be perfectly honest with you, this tank is fantastic. I mean, I loved it. It comes in 3 packages, effectively. So for 10,000 gold, you get all the equipment, 7 days of premium, and you get a gold gem avatar, woo, and a garage slot. For 9,500, you don't get the premium and you don't get the gold gem avatar. Oh, I hear you all say. And for 8,500, you just get the tank and the slot. No equipment, no gold gem, boo, and absolutely 0 equipment. But is it worth it? Well, I think it is. I mean, I outlaid the 10,000, not because I wanted the garage slot or I wanted the tank. I actually wanted the gold gem avatar. I wanted to show everybody that I was a complete utter gold noob. No, joking aside, I spent the 10 grand because unlocking all the equipment, and I'm a great believer in that you need to unlock at least 95% of the equipment. I don't bother with the last 2 on the tier 3 line of equipments, but I do want the vertical stabilizer and or the smoothbore gun. That costs a lot of credit at tier 8. So for the outlay of an extra what, an extra 1,500 gold, I thought it was worth it. To be frank with you, I actually think this tank is worth the investment. I think it's a nice little thing, but it depends on you. I mean, some of you may not like the Type 59 or the T54. Some of you may not like the Patton. If you don't like either of those tanks, then this is not the tank for you, because it's both those tanks in one, realistically. But look at this. I mean, it's got a fantastic gun. I mean, it does have a good gun. It is pretty solid turret-wise. If you stick it in the right place, you will bounce everything. You see there, look, you angle it away from the tanks, you'll get the bounces, they'll hit your tracks. It can side scrape. I know American tanks aren't exactly the best at side scraping. This one's not too bad, because don't forget, it's not an American chassis. This is a Russian oblique Chinese chassis. And we all know that their armor is pretty sort of weird at the best of times. So I do think this is a nice tank. It brings something different to the garage. It brings the mobility of a T54 with the punch of a Patton. And I like that, oddly enough. And I had a barrel of laughs in this thing. I mean, okay, I didn't get a mastery. I only rolled it out about, what, 8 times. Most of the games I only got a 2nd class, and I did get a 1st class. I just didn't get the mastery because I think a lot of people bought it. But that's not the point. The point isn't just about getting these gold little badges or whatever. The point is to have fun. And I tore around the battlefield in this thing and had a barrel of fun. I really did. I thought it was fantastic. And I don't generally like tier 8 because I think tier 8 is broken. But this was nice. It was different. It was, you know, I took a tank out that at first I was like, I ummed and ahed, and then I thought, nah, you know, I actually read Irma Bex's review, and I thought, yeah, I'll give it a bash. So I did, and, you know, Irma Bex is completely right. This is a fantastic tank. It really is so much fun. And I enjoyed it. I absolutely enjoyed it. And when you enjoy a tank, you don't mind spending, you know, your gold. And I'm not saying if you know, spend 10k on it. Get the 8,500 version. Just get the tank in the slot if you really want this tank, because that's not bad value, to be fair, for something that's a bit different. And it's you know, it's Chinese. And generally, I don't like the Chinese premium tanks, apart from the WZTD, because that is a fantastic tank as well. I mean, some of the other premiums I just think is a bit. I mean, like the Glacial and stuff like that. This one is a breath of fresh air, however. And, you know, you can put it in a good place. You can dish out a lot of damage. The reload is fantastic. Look at the aim time here. The dispersion's not too bad. Okay, you can see there, I'm bouncing because that turret, if you go all down, that turret is rock solid. You're not doing massive damage, but you're doing a lot of damage in a short space of time, and that's what I like about it. And it's got good mobility. It's a really good medium tank. And, you know, a lot of people turn around and say, oh, but it's another premium. Yeah, it is, but it's a bit different. It's mobile. It's got, you know, a good gun. It's got a great engine, and you can really maneuver around the place on this thing. You know, I've done what, just over 1,000 damage here. Okay, I'm not setting the world on fire, I admit that, but everything's sort of penning. I've not really bounced many shots. And look at this. Look at this in reverse. I mean, it's fantastic. You get a good 20 kilometers going backwards. And then the mobility and its maneuverability is just great. I mean, I can't sing the praises of this tank anymore. I mean, the last premium I bought was the FV201A45. Another fantastic tank that I love. And I didn't regret buying that. And I haven't regretted getting this either. Because I just giggled myself around the battlefield. You can get it into some great places. The reload, as you can see, is top notch. And okay, I've dropped the adrenaline here because I know that there are 3 tanks, if you look at the minimap, coming down to try and wipe me out, and they do wipe me out, to be honest with you, because the armor on this thing, if it's in the wrong place, is pretty thin, as you saw from the armor inspector. But that's not the point. I had a great time in it, and that's the point. And the AFK tank suddenly came alive and decided to kill me, which is always nice. You know, and it's always nice. I did 2,400 damage, got a nice second class, and I died, and I just loved it. This is me rolling out on Black Goldfield, and I'm purposely playing the tank in this sort of vein to try and give you an understanding of what it's like. So I'm going to apply. I purposely went out and put it in positions whereby it was in a bit of danger. I wanted to see if you could get it to bounce, if you get it to side scrape, where the angles were, you know, and how it really handled itself. Now, okay, I'd only just got it. Now, I've only played a few games in it, so yes, I'm getting preferential MM. So you have to take a few things with a pinch of salt. However, I've lost my preferential M. I mean, look at that. That's a fantastic shot, that is. And this is what you can do with this gun. I mean, my preferential MM is now gone, and boy, I'm still having a great time in this thing. You know, it's just brilliant. It really, well, that was a piss poor shot, I must admit. Look, you get great bounces. You know, that Rudy, bless him. Watch this. I'm just going to go straight up and face hug him because I want to see how aggressive you can be in this thing. And you can be quite aggressive because the reload is quite fast. And hit point trade wise, we're doing well. And look, another bounce. And we're doing okay, or hit point, and another bounce. And this is what I like. You can be so aggressive in it. To put one into the IS-3's nose. That's a great tank, guys. And seriously, if you're thinking about it and you're not convinced, or you know, you just don't like the look of it, looks are deceiving. Never judge a book by its cover. I mean, another great bounce look. Never judge a book by its cover. If you don't like this thing because it's ugly, well, that's obviously a life choice. If you want a decent all-round tank, then seriously, I thoroughly recommend this tank. I'm not telling everybody to go out and buy it. I just recommend this tank. I thought it was really fun. I mean, look at this. I mean, you can just tie rings around this IS-3. Poor little thing. I mean, and I'm still bouncing. I bounced over 1,000 in this thing. I'm bouncing from the rear now because the armor profile is like that. Really, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great tank. I bought it because, as I said, I read a review by Bex. I thought that review gave me some interest. I bought it and I thought, well, I've had some good fun in this, so I'm going to recommend it to you. And that's what I'm doing. Anyway, guys, I'm not by any stretch of the imagination telling you to go and drop all your hard-earned gold. All I'm suggesting is, if you're considering getting a premium tank that's in the stores right now, I would get this over the E25 any day of the week. I really would. Although, obviously, the E25 is only like 6,500, but I would get this over that any day of the week. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. That is the 59 Patton, a fantastic tank. I've been Fujit. By all means, send me your replays to fujitsblitz@gmail.com. If you want to, comment and like below. Please subscribe because it makes me happy, and making me happy is a very nice thing. And until then, all I have to say is stay safe out there, have fun on the battlefield, and happy tanking, because that's what it's all about, fun and being happy.